Welcome to class, everyone! I'm Professor Bothy, and today, we're on the hunt for some incredible Paradox Pokemon based on the Kanto starters.
Professor, what makes starter Pokemon so special?
Well, Toasty, trainers have a deep connection to them as they're usually the first Pokemon they befriend and bond with at the start of their journey. We've already met a few other Paradox starters in the past, but today's batch are the iconic set of Pokemon from the Kanto region. Pikachu, Venusaur, Blastoise, and Charizard. Let's head into the past and future to find what's waiting for us.
Let's begin!
Trainers, I just got off a call with Professor Sada, sounding out of breath when they described today's first case. The Paradox Pokemon she claimed to see resembled the world's most popular Pokemon, although this thing was clearly not as friendly. Nevertheless, she was so excited until she found a whole pack of the creatures chewing on expensive fiber optic cables en masse. That explains why the Wi-Fi was so shoddy down there, huh? Trainers, head down into Area 0 and be careful. Try not to get shocked by the fact that you might be playing with fire. Bring some ground types and report back ASAP.
Paradox from the past. Rabbit.
Pikachu is the most popular Pokemon from across all the regions spread far and wide on the spinning rock, but where did it come from? The answer is right here in Rabid Current. Rabid Current is a dangerous specimen, although we've broken down its defenses by feeding them a steady stream of berries. Still, we've kept our distance as it seems this Pokemon is far from capable of controlling its electrical impulses. So much so to the point that pent-up energy causes the end of its tail to catch on fire. Fire and electricity are of the same ilk after all. And now we can see why it became so important for Pikachu to eventually evolve into Raichu to ground itself out with its long and insulated tail. Speaking of which, this Pokemon seems to have features of both Pikachu and Raichu. This singular form would soon be tamed by man and nature, and then split into the family we know and love today. Brassius, a grass-type gym leader from Artisan Town here in the Paldea region, was called in to take a look at some strange patterns along the ground in Area 0. According to his research, he found a method of attack that doesn't seem too familiar to the grass-type Pokemon he so fondly adores, and has now tapped us to find who's responsible for clearing out a whole area of Pokemon for its meals. Whatever it is, this thing is massive and seems to lurk under the ground as made evident by areas with large burrows. Trainers, it seems highly territorial, so kit yourself up with some fire Pokemon and report back ASAP.
Paradox from the past.
An ancient ancestor to Venusaur, Lurking Maw is a powerful Pokemon that spends a great deal of day lurking under the ground, spending as little energy as possible to catch its prey with its tail. What's incredible about this Paradox is to see how its various parts and features are nearly identical to its modern-day counterpart, but reconfigured in a different way. The beautiful thing about nature, after all, is that life finds a way. So over time, Venusaur's petals, which absorb sunlight, eventually arrange themselves to a traditional flower to be more effective at its job. Currently, we're in awe over how dexterous its tail is, and how much power it contains to be able to dig into the ground. However, it's not the most potent part of this Pokemon. Instead, that honor goes to the sap that Lurking Maw produces, which is an incredible scent and even better taste. I have to jar some for myself when I get the chance. Professor Turo and I were working out one day when he got a call that one of the labs down in Area 0 had caught on fire. Sada was able to chase away the rabid currents that were the accidental arsonists. But the state of the facility was at stake, and when all seemed lost, a singular entity in shining cerulean armor appeared to dispel the flames. Trainers, we've since lost track of this mysterious Pokemon who, by some accounts, say it looks like a speedboat surfing across the land. And no, I'm not joking. Get down there and find that hero.
Paradox from the future. Rescue time.
When I was young, I wanted to be a firefighter. Part of the reason why was because of my obsession with a band of heroes known as the Squirtle Squad. Seems like Rescue Tide was built in honor of this now defunct group. The Squirtle Squad were practicing firefighters who wore these really dope sunglasses, and what do you know? This future take on Blastoise is wearing one as well, probably an homage to the originals. That said, Underneath is an optic camera system that lets them see through flames and smoke, and thus becoming incredibly effective rescue workers in the far future. As I was saying in the brief, these Pokemon are able to retreat into their bodies, but rather than a shell, they resemble speedboats. The way they transform reminds me of another show I watched as a kid, so it seems this Pokemon was built to not only be effective members of society, but living tributes to heroes of pop culture. Never underestimate where inspiration can come from. In the case of the Squirtle Squad, heroes never die. When word that Zinnia was coming to Paldea to investigate a paradox, Champion Geetha invited both Lance and I to join her. Reports detail a Pokemon that shoots across the sky like a meteor, glittering in crimson and gold, and although largely keeping away from humankind, and not necessarily reading as a threat, must still be retrieved so as to not disturb the ecosystem. Trainers, I'll be heading into Area 0 with Zinnia to investigate. I think we're dealing with a legendary paradox thought to exist only in stories.
Paradox from the clouds. Nova Prime.
It's been about 2 weeks after that incredible battle at the peak of Glaciero Mountain. The heat of Nova Prime seemed to negate the snowstorm like nothing, turning the biome upside down for a memory I'll never forget. Since then, Zinnia has been an invaluable resource as to the history of dragons, shedding further light on Nova Prime. Equal parts Charizard and equal parts Rayquaza, we're looking at the mortal ancestor to all dragon Pokemon. There's some incredible resemblance to its snout as far as Regidrago too, as this paradox seems to represent the living form of dragon energy. Despite its appearance, Nova Prime is actually incredibly docile and carries a graceful aura that is quite soothing to be around. When threatened, however, battle data suggests this Pokemon trails only behind both Arceus and Rayquaza, making them the strongest paradox we'll likely ever find. As much as we'd love to keep this one, we'll be releasing them back to their world where it can maintain balance as it did before its timeline was disrupted.
On Professor's orders, Toasty here to assign the question of the day. What does your Gene Paradox starter Pokemon look like? Describe them in full for extra credit. Be sure to comment your reply below by end of day. Gorochu, the overcharged Pokemon.
Gorochu are incredibly deadly Pokemon that have no control over their impulses. They seem to enjoy their prey charred to a crisp, having gotten used to the flavor as they either completely burn them with flame or overcharge them with electricity. Their energy is so potent that its tail seems to catch on fire on its own, which doesn't seem to hurt the Pokemon.
Venusaur, the Saptrap Pokemon.
Venusaur live in swampy regions where they can sink into the ground, lining up their petals just above the surface to catch sun rays while staying hidden. The flower growing on its tail can emote to a limited degree, releasing an irresistible sap on the sunniest of days. When its prey gets close, Venusaur snatches them with their tail, constricting them until their bones turn to dust.
Blastoise, the Hydrate Pokemon.
Blastoise are Pokemon driven to protect the people and their environment as civil servants, and as such given a unique number for the firehouse they represent. This Pokemon uses a new age solvent to put out fires and other danger, and their shells, now resembling a speedboat, are able to pull moisture out of the air to keep their reserves full at all times. The ancestor to all dragons of the modern day, Charizard was a benevolent ruler that represented strength, wisdom, and grace in a world long gone. Boasting incredible vigor and aura, this Pokemon rarely intervened in the world below it as it flew through the skies, only breaching the stratosphere to quell the most dangerous of forces. As a result, it was feared by those that envied it and respected by all.
Registration complete.
Perfect.
Thanks for watching today's episode, trainers. I want to give a shout out to our growing community who helped in so many ways for today's art over at my streams. Don't hesitate to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can join us and get sneak peeks at new content in development. I also want to take this time out to show some massive love to my patrons. Thank you so much for your support. I've been Professor Bodhi. aka Mr. Bonnie John.
And I've been Toasty.
Until next time.